that vocational education, technical education, agricultural education is incredibly important for the future of our state. We know that there are young people that are gifted in ways that attach their brain to their hands, and that gifting is important. It needs to be developed. We need to have educational pathways for them. Most importantly, what we need is a skilled workforce that is attractive to industry. And companies are coming here in record numbers, and we want to provide the workforce that they need in order to come here.
And what's the excitement that you're feeling behind this particular program and what the city's put together?
You know, I think what we see here is an incredible partnership. We have a school system, a College of Applied Technology, a community college, a four-year college. We have the private sector engaging here. This community has come together to solve a problem. And the problem is that there are not enough workers to fill the required opportunities that are out there. And so I commend the folks in this community that have come together, including the business, the nonprofits, the private sector, to make this happen and to solve a problem that's much needed to be solved.
Anybody else?
I know there's legislation right now that's being worked on in terms of middle college and that route, and it kind of integrates into this, but also allows the parents of those students to be able to kind of use the money that is traditionally able to use in community college while they're in high school so they can graduate with their dual degrees. Talk about how that's going and how important of a piece of the puzzle that is.
Yeah, I think that whenever we can be innovative and creative in developing strategies for young people to gain the skills they need, whether that is apprenticeship learning, work-based learning, starting in middle school all the way through high schools, we need to get out of the standard process and develop innovative ways that get these young people on a path to success.
Governor, what kind of feedback have you been getting on your proposal for the pre-K-12 funding to replace the BEP? I think a lot of people are still trying to digest it, but how's it going so far?
You know, I'm very encouraged. We have a 30-year-old funding model in this state that's very outdated, that works for very few people. We need we need an approach, and the approach that we've developed is one that's student-centered. It is an approach that funds students and not systems. We are also proposing $1 billion of funding for our public school system across the state. It's incredibly important that we fund our public schools, but it's most important that we fund them well. And the way to do that is to have a model in collaboration with that additional funding. So far, we've had very good feedback. You know, this model was created by stakeholders, and I think that's one of the reasons we've seen so far a good response, because it started months ago and we included stakeholders from across the state, parents, teachers, educators, for months in the process, including public feedback. That has put together a strategy and a formula that many are already familiar with when it's delivered, and therefore we've had some really good response. I'm very encouraged with where this is headed, and we hope to get it done this session.
Great. We've got time for one more question. So, Crystal, you good? All
Anybody
good?
else?
I've got one
Anybody?
more.
Yes, sir.
Small business kind of coming out of the pandemic, and they're kind of taking on more problems than they had. You know, even with the chronic having a hard time finding workers. You know, you also have inflation that's on the rise, and interest rates are getting ready to go up in the month of March, and just some more headwind kind of against them. What are you looking at in terms of being able to kind of help these small businesses moving forward?
Yeah, I think that government's responsibility is to create an environment. We can't solve the problems. That's not what government isn't designed to address the greatest challenges of the day. The people do that. The private sector does it, the nonprofit does it, but the government does have a very important responsibility, and that's to create an environment. It's part of what we're seeing here, which is creating an environment of learning, of workforce development. We need to have put in place the infrastructure for our businesses. We need to have a business-friendly environment that's attractive to companies. We see companies moving here in record numbers because of the low taxes that we provide, because of the low regulatory environment that we have. So what we need to do is create an environment that businesses and individuals can thrive.
All right, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right.
Thank you, sir.